Hello makeup lovers, how are you guys doing today? So I'm pretty excited for this video because I'm going to be doing another no drama dupes. And before we get into everything, I did want to mention a thank you to Georgia, one of my subscribers. In the previous / first video in this series, I asked you guys for recommendations because I could not decide on a name that I truly loved, and Georgia suggested No Drama Dupes, and I feel like that is such a good name for this. It's so creative, and I feel like it's also kind of catchy, so thank you so much, Georgia. Y'all have already seen the thumbnail and the title, so you obviously know that today's video we are going to be duping the Melt Cosmetics Smoke Sessions palette, and I really wanted to dupe this one for a few different reasons. The first is that it has a very weed heavy theme, and I know that some people love it, some people hate it, some people are indifferent towards it. I'm personally indifferent towards, leaning towards not really loving it, but I would purchase it if it was unique enough. So I noticed in my comments for this past any makeup releases, a lot of y'all were not loving the theme. It wasn't really your favorite, and you were kind of specifically not buying the palette because of that, so I thought this would be a perfect video to do. I also wanted to dupe it for selfish reasons because I really like a portion of the palette, but I don't want to buy the whole thing. So it was really nice for me to go through my collection and actually find very similar shades. In fact, I'm really happy with how these dupes turned out, except for one shade, which we'll talk about in a little bit. So I feel like the palette's just a little bit expensive. I didn't love every single shade in it, so duping it felt really good because I'm trying to start purchasing less. So let's just go ahead and jump on into my dupes. And of course, quick disclaimer, I am a dupe duchess, not a dupe queen, so try not to be too hard on me. Alright, so here is my personal dupes for the palette, and I did my absolute best. I looked at the swatches that Melt posted, I looked at the picture of the palette, I looked at swatches from a YouTube video I found, trying to get the most accurate that I could. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys right away that this brown is not a dupe for Sour Diesel in the Smoke Sessions palette. Unfortunately, I feel like that is definitely the most unique shade in the palette. It's like a really deep cool tone brown with like a really olive undertone. Very beautiful. If y'all know of a dupe for that, I would love to pick it up. If you know of any singles or anything like that, I just have absolutely nothing in my collection like it, and I probably have like 300 single shadows. So I went ahead and just threw in a like slightly more cool toned deep brown shade. This is actually Noche from Colourpop, which isn't even available anymore. Unfortunately, Colourpop is the worst. They do not keep their single shadows around, so I hate using them for dupes. However, I still used it for this because I was going to give you guys a disclaimer either way that it's not quite the right undertone, but it is a very deep brown, and most brands do have deep browns. So, you know, that's just the one thing I could not find anything close to. I actually don't know how much the Smoke Sessions palette costs, but Melt Cosmetics is definitely more of a high-end price tag. The Gemini palette was 2 more shades, I believe, and it was, I think it was $58 or $65, one of those two. So I'm pretty sure that the same price you could dupe every single shade if you wanted to for a similar price. Or if you only like a few shades, like for example, if you only like this bottom row here, which that's the part that I really wanted from the Smoke Sessions palette, you could get those for like $20-something or so. And then adding in obviously the shipping for the different brands, although 4 shades are from the same brand. I try to do more from the same brand if I can, but I want to stick true to the closest color I can find. I really don't know why I chose to wear long sleeves. I actually have to unbutton this right now so that I have some arm. The first shade in the Smoke Sessions palette is called Gravity OG, and it looks to be a very warm, coppery type of shade. So I went ahead and chose Follow Me from Luxie Beauty. I actually have a lot of metallic shades from Luxie Beauty today in this little dupe session. And, oh, that's kind of punny, like smoke session. We're going to do a dupe session. And Luxie Beauty has some really amazing metallic shades. Like, they're super foiled, super soft. So I think if you do like Melt Cosmetics formula from what I've tried from the Gemini palette, where it's super intense and foiled, I think you would like Luxie, but Luxie is less crumbly and less fallout. So there is Follow Me. So the next shade in the Smoke Sessions palette is called Granddaddy, and it looks like a warm golden shade with just a just a touch of green undertone from what I can see. So I went ahead and chose Looksy Beauty Urbane, which just looks like this. It's just a very green gold, but it's a little bit on like the softer, a little bit more on the gold side than green side. So I thought this would be a good choice. So there's Urbane. Urban, what should be called Urban? But there's an E at the end, so I don't know. Alright, so the next shade is called Black Widow. I feel so ignorant because I don't know what any of these names mean. So I went ahead and chose Sunken Treasures from City Grace Cosmetics. Again, a really, really beautiful intense foiled formula. And this is another green gold, but it leans a little bit more green than gold. So it's like one step closer to green, and I really, really love this shade. It's so, so pretty. There is Sunken Treasures. It looks very green swatched on my arm right now, but I promise it has a lot of gold undertone to it. So the next shade is Sour Diesel. Like I said, that's the shade I could not find a good dupe for at all. Oh man, it drives me crazy. I literally went through all my singles twice. Like, I have to find something close to this, and I don't have anything. So like I said, if y'all have suggestions for everyone else, feel free to leave them down below. If you have suggestions for me, I would love to find a shade like that. And I actually plan on leaving this palette together for a while because I had a lot of fun doing the look today, which is going to be at the end of the video. So like I said, I just went ahead and chose Colourpop Noche, which is not available anymore. It was in the Colourpop x I Love Sarah E collaboration. So it's just like a pretty rich, I guess I'd probably say more neutral brown. Let's do a little extra swatch right there. Alright, so the next shade is Space Queen, and I feel really good about my dupe for this one. So Space Queen is a very, very deep teal shade, and I had a feeling of what shade I would want to use, and I think this is pretty close. In fact, it might even be a little bit better than their shade, and I say that because I saw someone use it in a tutorial, and it looked on the eyes, it didn't really keep that teal appearance. It kind of turned a little bit more muddy, and the shade I'm gonna recommend to y'all does keep the teal look. It's on my outer V, and I think it's really nice. So this is Squad from Colored Rain, and I really took my time working with this today because I've had trouble working with the Colored Rain pressed pigments in the past. I think this is definitely my favorite shade of the bunch. It's so unique, and I actually did not have any problems with it at all today. Surprisingly, I had a really pleasant time using it. So this is Squad. Seriously, like, looking at it, looking at tutorials, looking at everything, I think this is such a great dupe for that shade in particular, and just the really nice shade all around. So just picking a little bit of that up, but it is a super pigmented shade. So there is Colored Rain Squad. Alright, so the next shade in the palette is called Mean Green, and it looks to be a very deep green metallic shade, but still has a really nice like light reflect. So I think that this shade from Looksy Beauty is a very good dupe for it. So this is Damned Damsel, and it has like a really deep green undertone, but it does have a really nice reflect to it. Again, such a beautiful metallic formula, so I think this gives pretty much the same appearance. So there is Looksy Damned Damsel. Okay, so the last two shades in the palette are the ones I was really looking at, like, I want to buy this palette, and I feel like I found really good dupes slash alternatives for these two shades. I think they're super similar. So the first one is called Sweet Tooth, and it looks to be like a metallic teal shade, a little bit more on the blue side, just super beautiful. And I went ahead and chose Looksy Beauty Sleep Forever. Honestly, I think these look so similar. I actually had a Sydney Grace shadow that I thought looked really similar to this one too. I kind of went back and forth, swatched them both, looked at the swatches online, and I decided to go with Sleep Forever. So there is Sleep Forever. Super metallic, beautiful, light green shade. I'm actually going to just do a second layer of that. I mean, it's already beautiful, but I don't know why. I just want to, yeah, so pretty. Alright, so the last shade in the palette slash my favorite shade in the palette is Blue Dream, and it looks to be a minty, icy shade leaning a little bit more blue. So I went ahead and chose Sydney Grace Cosmetics Mint Green. I feel like this is pretty similar. It is a mint shade that leans a little bit more blue. I'm looking at Blue Dream and it might be just the tiniest bit, a little bit more blue, a little bit more icy, but I think you could get the same exact effect with this shade. So I really do like this one. I think it's so, so pretty. Does that swatch not just like make your heart beat faster? So here is Mint Green. I feel like the brown swatch looks a little bit funny, but those are my dupes slash alternatives for the Melt Cosmetics Smoke Sessions palette. Like I said, this brown here and the Sour Diesel shade I feel like are worlds apart. That is why I'm a dupe duchess, not a dupe queen, but overall, I think if you were wanting to buy just a few shades from the palette, you would be happy with this. Or if you did not want to buy the entire palette because of the theming, you would also still be happy with these shades. And I really, really recommend Looksy and Sydney Grace Cosmetics Foiled Shadows. I think they're absolutely amazing. So, alright, so I think that's everything I have to say. Let's just go ahead and jump on into the tutorial.
It's not my fault, you know I had to walk away. It's been 5 years and not one of us has changed. We say we're trying, but we just stay the same. And the truth is, I think we're better off. Me, myself, and I, at least give it a try. Sometimes we're just ourselves and not with someone else. Me, myself, and I, at least give it a try. Sometimes we're just ourselves and not with someone else. Don't need to give it up. Don't give it up. Think you got hot, don't need to give it up. Don't give it up. Think you got hot, don't need to give it up. Don't give it up. Don't think you got hot, don't need to give it up. Don't give it up. If I could save us, hell, you know I would. We're just a product of messed up, misunderstood. And just because it works don't mean that it should. 'Cause the truth is, we're better off.
So that is everything for the video. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, definitely let me know down below and I'll keep doing them. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.